Welcome to this video about target setting. What are SMART targets? SMART targets are targets that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound. Targets must also be personal to the pupil. The R can also stand for relevant. Targets should be set as small steps towards the pupil meeting their longer-term outcomes, and should be used as part of the graduated approach to identification of their needs and the provision in place. Targets on provision maps for pupils with SEND are often set on a termly basis. Shorter-term targets can also be set for individual interventions. How are targets different from aims? An aim is a long-term goal, whereas a target is a statement of what the pupil can achieve within a given time. For example, if the aim is for Alfie to know the names of colours by the end of the school year, the term's target might be for Alfie to point to a red wooden block when asked by the class TA, when presented with 2 red wooden bricks and a yellow wooden brick, 3 out of 5 tries. What do we need to consider when setting targets? It can be helpful to first think in terms of who, what, and when. Who is the target for? This is the name of the pupil, for example, Princess. What is the desired outcome? This is what you want them to learn. For example, Princess will recognise 3 of her triggers for anger. And when does the desired outcome need to be shown? This is when you want this desired outcome to be shown. For example, Princess will recognise 3 of her triggers for anger when asked by an adult. Setting targets that are specific. As part of the target planning process, the outcome should be broken down into a small next step that is personal to the pupil. It is important that clear language is used when setting targets, describing exactly what the pupil will be able to do to be successful. Avoid using words that are potentially unclear and open to interpretation. Examples include know, understand, listen, and enjoy. Instead, use words that are concrete and easy to evidence. For example, read, find, match, repeat, count, label, recall, etc. Setting targets that are measurable. Use statements that identify how many times a pupil responds successfully. For example, 3 out of 5 times. Alternatively, use a percentage measure. For example, 60%. Setting targets that are achievable and realistic. Targets must be developmentally appropriate for the pupil and therefore a genuine next step for them. A pupil should be able to reach the target by a given date. Considering this will help in deciding whether the next step is suitable within the given time or, in fact, a future aim. Setting targets that are time-bound. SMART targets are always bound to a date in which the target will be reviewed to assess progress, usually by the end of term, if on a provision map. Key considerations when setting SMART targets. How many targets will be set? Is the target one that can be seen, heard, counted or measured? How often does the target activity need to be carried out? What tools, materials and resources will you use to support you to develop these? What progress do you hope to see as a result of the actions taken? How have you reflected the pupil's voice? How will you record progress and communicate this to parents and staff? And when will the target be reviewed? And who will be contributing to this review? Examples of turning longer-term aims and softer targets into SMART targets. The longer-term aim is for James to make a choice. The SMART target for the term is James will point to his choice of snack when shown a choice of 2 snacks by his key worker in a distraction-free environment on 3 out of 5 times offered. The longer-term aim is for Alex to communicate when he wants more. The SMART target for the term is Alex will request more by using the sign more during one-to-one time, or at least 2 out of 5 occasions per day. The longer-term aim is for Kwame to know 2D shapes. The SMART target for the term is Kwame will pick up a 2D square shape when asked by an adult from a group of 2 2D triangle shapes and 1 2D square shape of the same colour, 60% of the time when prompted. The longer-term aim is for Jake to join in for a short activity. The SMART target for the term is Jake will copy the action movement for Round and Round for the action song The Wheels on the Bus when an LSA models the action and the action song is played during one-to-one time, 4 out of 5 times when this happens. The longer-term aim is for Lily's vocabulary to improve. The SMART target for the term is Lily will correctly say the words from the high-frequency list 1 when picture prompts are provided for at least 80% of the words on the list. The longer-term aim is for Tyrone to enjoy a story. The SMART target for the term is Tyrone will be able to retell the ending of a short story, following a story being read to him on a one-to-one basis, marked by saying 1 or more sentences with at least 1 correct detail about a character in the story. This is the end of this video. You can view more videos on this channel in the Bite Size series, including other Bite Size Senko videos.